Welcome to Joyful Adventure Audits, everyone. This YouTube channel is dedicated to exploring the rich history of iconic pubs across Birmingham, England. On this channel, we take you on adventures profiling both beloved pubs of the past that have sadly closed their doors, as well as celebrating traditional neighborhood watering holes that are still pouring pints today. Over the years, Birmingham has lost a staggering amount of its classic, old-school British pubs for a variety of economic and social reasons. From small countryside inns to bustling city pubs, many fondly remembered pubs now only live on in local memories and photographs. We are collecting stories, anecdotes, and images of these pubs before they fade from public memory altogether. We also shine a spotlight on the Birmingham pubs that have stood the test of time, highlighting why they remain gems in their communities. So whether you arrive at the video thirsty for a virtual pint or are just looking for a healthy dose of nostalgia, welcome. Grab a seat at the bar as we set off to uncover stories of both the ghosts and survivors of Birmingham's extraordinary pub scene. Cheers. The Vampire was situated at 33 Great Edmund Row. The Speedwell was located at the junction of Stockfield Road and Amington Road at Acox Green. The Roebuck situated on the corner of William Street and St. Martin's Street. These two streets no longer cross. In their place are the small residential roads of Roseland Way and apartments at Shepherd's Gardens. The Ship Inn was reportedly a headquarters for Prince Rupert during the Civil War in 1643. The Marquis of Lorne. This junction between Cecil Street and Newtown Row is now occupied by advertising boards. The Unicorn, 1950s, on Holloway Head at a junction with Speaking-Style Walk which connected Irving Street with Holloway Head. The Dog and Duck Inn stood on the south side of Holloway Head at number 89, on the corner of Exeter Street, but was replaced by the Talbot Public House by 1900. Just behind the pub can be seen the remains of Chapman's Windmill. The Greyhound and Cider House on Holloway Head. The Greyhound was popular with a diverse crowd, and in the 1970s and 1980s with Birmingham's gay and lesbian community. The Glassmaker's Arms at the corner of Granville Street and Holiday Street. The buildings around this junction are now mostly residential properties or office buildings. The King's Arms was at the junction of Bishopsgate Street and William Street. Waterloo Bar was at the top of New Street near Victoria Square, shown on the corner with Christ Church Passage which ascends to Waterloo Street. This location is now occupied by Nando's, before that Halifax Bank. The Sun Inn was located on the Bristol Street and Sun Street. New Ring Road was constructed using Lee Bank Road and Sun Street to form Lee Bank Middleway. The Trees Hotel was situated at the junction of Wheeley's Lane and Bath Row, which is now a car park for nearby apartments. Bradshaw's served Holders Alesh. Holders was owned by Sir John Holder of Moor Green, Moseley. The brewery was based in Nova Scotia Street, which is now part of Jennings Road. The Anchor Inn at the corner of Islington Row and Tennant Street, Birmingham. Islington Row has now become part of the Birmingham Ring Road, A4540, and this location on the junction with Tennant Street is now occupied by the Five Ways Shopping Centre. The Colmore Arms was an Ansell's pub on Latimer Street. Latimer Street and the Colmore Arms has since been lost within the redevelopment of Park Central. Stephen's Bar was at the corner of High Street, number 80, and New Street, number 140. In 1941, the building was damaged during an air raid, but the ground floor bar continued to operate until Stephen's Bar finally closed its doors on March 25, 1958. In the photograph can be seen the large illuminating M&B sign on the New Street side of the building, and also on this side the Swan Hotel, which was adjacent to Stephen's Bar. The Golden Lion was taken down from its original location on High Street, Darrowton, and rebuilt in Cannon Hill Park in 1911. The old Golden Lion was reportedly built around 1600. The Cambridge Inn was on the eastern junction with the Crescent. Today, the multi-story car park on the junction with Brindley Drive marks the approximate location of the Cambridge Inn. The Dolphin is another casualty of the redevelopments of this area and Park Central. The Villa Cross Inn, at the junction between Heathfield Road and Villa Road, known as Villa Cross. Although no longer a pub, the building has since been rebuilt. The Great Western Vaults on Monmouth Street, now Colmore Row. Previously known as the Dolphin and operating since 1786, it became the Great Western Vaults, often shortened to the Great Western, in 1853. The Bowling Green at 6870th Holloway head at the junction with Ernest Street. The Emily Arms was at the corner of Emily Street and Demolished Street near Balsall Heath. The demolition of slum housing in the area in order to make way for the St. Martin's Flats. The original Emily Arms building may have also been a casualty of the redevelopment of the area, although a public house remained at the same junction which was more recently known as the Hideout. However, this building is no longer in use as a pub and is now the Al Rasul Community Center. The Grand Junction stood on the crossroads of Great Colmore Street and Bell Barn Road. These roads have both been modified as part of the Park Central redevelopments, and the pub's approximate location, if it still stood, would be near Alfred Knight Way. The Bell Barn Tavern at junction of Bell Barn Road and Ryland Road, Highgate. The construction of the Ring Road and the more recent developments around Park Central have dramatically changed this area. At the time, Ryland Road would have joined Bell Barn Road approximately where Colbrand Grove. The Chapel Tavern, which had been in existence since 1828, can be seen on the left-hand side on the junction between Great Charles Street and Ludgate Hill. The photo was taken from Church Street, and St. Paul's Chapel, after which it is named, can be seen at the far end of Ludgate Hill. The station is on the corner of Highbridge Road and Boldmere Road. The site of the pub is now occupied by Boldmere Library, and Wild Green United Reformed Church can still be seen in the distance. The Swan at the corner of Bell Barn Road and Wynn Street, another victim of the redevelopments of the area. The approximate position of the Swan would be amongst the park area situated between Mosedale Way and Bell Barn Road, which Wynn Street no longer joins. The Wheat Chief at the crossing of Latimer Street and Irving Street. This area has been heavily redeveloped, and the site of this pub would now be amongst the apartments on Crego Street, which also cross the same junction as Latimer Street and Irving Street, possibly near where Midford Grove joins Crego Street today. The old leather bottle was on the High Street in Darrowton. The Oaken on Bristol Road, where Harborne and Oak Tree Lanes join it in Selly Oak. The pub took its name from Old Oak Tree, which stood close by until it was felled in 1909. The Oaken closed 1980s as modifications were made to this major road junction. The Old Swan Inn in front of Bishop V.C. Grammar School in Sutton Coldfield. The old railway in Curzon Street had a long history of live bands, includes Led Zeppelin and Ozzy Osbourne, but closed as part of the East Side redevelopment. The Gun Barrels in Selly Oak next to the University of Birmingham. The Clifton and Balsall Heath on Lady Pool Road. And that wraps up our tour of some of the lost pubs of Birmingham. As we continue documenting Birmingham's legendary pubs, it's clear that while many historic spots have closed over the years, some fantastic establishments are still going strong when they find ways to adapt. We are collecting stories, anecdotes, and images of these pubs before they fade from public memory altogether. We also shine a spotlight on the Birmingham pubs that have stood the test of time, highlighting why they remain gems in their communities. So whether you arrive here thirsty for a virtual pint or are just looking for some nostalgia, welcome. Have a seat at the bar as we set off to uncover stories of both the lost ghosts and surviving stalwarts of Birmingham's extraordinary pub scene. I want to wish all of you a very happy and healthy new year for 2024. Please remember to support your local pubs and clubs if you can. Share their posts on social media, stop in for a pint or meal, hire their space for events like Halloween parties, or organize a special event night to give them an attendance boost. These beautiful local landmarks depend on their regulars to keep pouring pints. Thank you all for watching and for your continued support of our Joyful Adventure Audits YouTube channel. Here's to fond pub memories past and future ones made in 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. Clinking earmugs.